I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. Continuing on in the ABRSM Grade 3 Discovering Music Theory workbook, we move on to page 20, continuing with the topic of pitch and ledger lines. And we move on to exercise 2. There's nothing new here at all, really. We've just got to keep our eyes peeled, making sure we don't get confused in which clef we are. And there are two ways we can work it out. We can either work from a note that we're familiar with, counting up or down, or we can count the octave and then work the note out in more familiar territory. Just making sure that we always count line, space, every step on these lines and spaces of the stave. Now here, the notes are already given and named. We just need to make sure we choose the correct clef for this to be a true representation of the note. And so if this was middle C, C, D, E, F, G, that would be a G. And so it can't be the bass clef. That would be middle C at the top of the bass clef. Let's bring it down an octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we know in the treble clef, the space is spelled face, F-A-C-E. That's E an octave higher. It must be the treble clef. So now you've got the gist. Maybe perhaps just have a go on your own. Just work through exercise 2 and then we can check them through together. So I'm hoping that you've done that. And so actually, just in working this one out, we've already worked this one out because it can't be the same note with a different name. So it must be a different clef. And let's just think about it. If it was bass clef, if this is middle C at the top of the bass clef, C, D, E, F, G, that's correct. Or let's count down an octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 takes us here. That's our octave. All cows eat grass. It is indeed the bass clef. So this is quite low. Let's work out an octave higher first so we're in more familiar territory. Counting line, space, line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 takes us here. And so if this was the bass clef, it would be all cows eat grass. That would be an A. In the treble clef, the space is spelled face. This is F, an octave lower. It must be treble clef. Now then, let's jump the octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we know that in the treble clef, it's every good boy deserves football. It can't be treble. In the bass clef, good boys deserve football, always A, an octave higher, it must be bass clef. Let's continue. Well, if this was the treble clef, middle C would be on this first line here, so it can't be treble clef, but let's just work it out and let's go the octave higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We know the bass clef is all cows eat grass, a C. It's C an octave lower in the bass clef. Now then, we could count from somewhere we know, but I think we'll just count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 takes us to here. This is a note F, an octave lower. And in the bass clef, it would be good boys deserve football always. That can't be correct. So treble clef, every good boy deserves football, must be treble clef. Let's count the octave up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The only way we can go wrong is if you forget to count the given note as number 1. So we know in the bass clef it's all cows eat grass, so that must be bass clef A with a sharp, so bass clef. Now then here, let's think, if in the bass clef this is middle C, remember middle C is at the top of the bass clef, then it's D, then it's E flat, so it must be bass clef E flat. And if you're not convinced, you can count backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All cows eat E flat, an octave higher. So that's that exercise completed. Let's move on to exercise 3. Now we've got a little bit more thinking to do here. We need to rewrite these notes that are given to us in treble clef. We need to rewrite them into the bass clef, but we've got to keep the pitch exactly the same. Just be careful that you don't end up jumping octaves, because pitch, this is the G above middle C. No other G will be exactly the same pitch. It's an octave out then, isn't it? Or 2 octaves out or whatever. So do keep middle C as your reference point and think this is the C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. This is the G, 5 notes up from middle C. So here's middle C in the bass clef. Remember, it's at the bottom of the treble, the top of the bass. So here's middle C in the bass clef. C, D, E, F, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes higher than middle C. So keep middle C as your reference point. Now here's middle C in the treble clef, and we've got the C, B, A, G, F sharp below that. So if this is middle C in the bass clef, we've got to go below that. C, B, A, G, F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps below middle C, and then of course don't forget to sharpen it, otherwise it's not quite correct. And then this one, we've done the work for this really, haven't we? Except now we're going the other way, because here's middle C, C, D, E, F. We're above middle C, so here's middle C. So we've got to go C, D, E, F. So we've gone the octave above this one that we've been given here. No sharp in this case though. And so if you haven't done so already, now do move on to exercise 4 and try this exercise. We're just going the other way now from bass clef to treble clef. The principle is exactly the same though. Keep middle C as a reference point and make sure you're going either above or below middle C as appropriate to the correct note. So I'm hoping that you've had a go of this. Let's look at this together now. So here's middle C at the top of the bass clef. And this is the all cows eat, the E below that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps below. So here's middle C. So we're going to have to get a few ledger lines going here. C, B, A, G, F, E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps below middle C. This one's a bit less work, not too many ledger lines. If this is middle C, this is the D above middle C. Middle C is at the bottom of the treble. This is the D next door to that upper step. And then again, here's middle C in the bass clef at the top. C, B, A. So in the treble clef, this is middle C, B, A. And then of course we need a flat sign. And then we get the same scenario again in this challenge, but this time we've got to write out the notes ourselves. We've still got the same thinking process though. We've got to think, where are we in regards to middle C? So here's middle C in the treble clef. Here's middle C in the bass clef. So here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes above middle C on the A. So here's middle C. C, D, E, F, G, A. And you can see why we're going to need to change clef sometimes, because if we keep getting higher and higher and higher, we're just going to have far too many ledger lines in the bass clef, and that's why we changed to treble. So I'm not going to worry about stems or anything just yet, because we're going to have a bit of thinking about which way the stems are going and so on. So just so that I don't make too many mistakes, don't want to make any mistakes at all really, do we? So let's just deal with the blobs. So this one is C, D, E above middle C. So C, D, E above middle C. And then we can double check it. We've gone down 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's correct. Now we go up a step. So we still need these 2 ledger lines and go up a step. And that needs the sharp before it. Now back down a step. And that should take us to this same note. So let's double check that we're on the same note. That's correct. Now then, if this is middle C, this is one note below middle C. That's the B below middle C. So if that's middle C, we don't need the ledger line now. There's the B below middle C. And we can check we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4 steps down. 1, 2, 3, 4, line, space, line, space. That's correct. And then here's a nice convenient finish. We finish up a step on middle C, and that's a nice clue because we're on middle C. One step higher is indeed middle C. So we know we've not gone wrong. However, we're not finished yet until the sharp sign is there. And now we've got to think about the stems, and because they're all definitely above this middle line, all the stems are going to be coming down. Use a ruler by all means. This is, and I'm trying to show the sort of the diagonal reflection to show that the notes are going down or up. We can see the stem lengths reflect that. So there we go. Mine's perhaps a little bit more squished than their version, but in essence that's now complete. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.